Well, happy for me Saturday, just getting you ready for the next week, week two. And just want to give you kind of an overview of what we're reading, how we're writing, how to approach it. And I'm going to scroll quickly to page 18 in the PDF. I think is page 1 in the play. It is. Okay, so we had just a toe in the water on the first week. By the way, I will clear all the first work grading by Monday. That's my goal, is clean the deck by every Monday so we can start afresh. Let you know how you're doing, give some individual commentary. But, so don't worry, it's next on the list, but I've got to get you ready for your work too. And so we had a toe in the water first week. Oh, what is that, 65 pages, looking into the opening scene, and I do look forward to reading all of your responses. And we're just trying to get into the story, understand the dynamics of power, how the royals were angry because the commoner, the bosun, was telling them what to do. And how dare you? We're in charge. And that kind of, in the simplest way, we're in charge, not you, is what the play is about. Shakespeare has a way of focusing on one sort of emotional dynamic and building the play around it. Othello, for example, is built almost entirely around jealousy. And Hamlet would be built around revenge, let's say. And Romeo and Juliet is built around the sort of lightning quick love of teenagers, that's heightened emotionality, how they fall madly in love and fall madly out of love too. So anyway, we start off, there are five discussions, that's right. And I've broken this the longest scene in the whole play. It's about 505 lines, which is just about a quarter of the whole play. So Act 2, Scene 2 is huge. It gives you crucial background, and it kind of opens up key players and keeps that through line about the dynamics of power, who's in charge, who has control. Shakespeare's got that just laser-like focus. It's a part of his genius, is to create this focused human dynamic, in this case power, and look at it from many angles. And that gives the play a unity, kind of a spiritual, intellectual focal point. And at the same time, of course, he keeps the drama going to excite everybody from common people to well-educated people. He's trying to sell tickets. And it's 400 years ago. There are no movies, so you better make the language work. Anyway, the actors in the first, I think it's 185 lines, you've got Prospero and Miranda. It's called exposition, one way of saying it, or background, or letting you know the story before the shipwreck. The first thing you learn is that Prospero is controlling the shipwreck with his magical friend, the spirit Ariel. But you also get the background of Prospero and his daughter Miranda. He's giving her their backstory. You'll find he's got quite a few surprises for her. And he's letting them know how they got to the island. And also letting her know why he created the storm. It's like the stars aligned, and this is a great opportunity for him, and that's what the whole play is about. And he's creating this storm, wrecking the ships to make it happen. And you get a lot of really good backstory, and you have the villain, Antonio, and it's an interesting examination of how corrupt people get when they want to grab that crown and call it their own. Excellent backstory, focused, beautiful writing. And then right about 165, if I'm right, he puts Miranda to sleep. 185, I'm sorry. And as she falls asleep, then Ariel enters. And you also have a power play because Ariel is under Prospero's control for just a few more hours. And he has been for 12 years. And you'll find out why Prospero controls Ariel. It's an older idea, indentured servitude. You do it to pay off a debt. My great-great-grandmother was sold by her poor parents to the wealthy farmers in Finland about 1880 or so. And the way she paid back the debt is she became the household maid and servant until she was 18. And their boy went to school, and she didn't go to school. She stayed home and took care of the boy. But she got even. Their son and her took off, eloped, got married, and came to America. But that's what indentured servitude meant. You didn't get paid, you did get food, and you had to follow the person to whom you owed the debt. So we get into this, into Ariel. He also explains Ariel is the magical force that allowed the shipwreck to happen. He's guided different people, separated the parties. It's very important. Where he has the king's brother, and Prospero's brother, who stole his dukedom. They're separated. The king, Alonso's son, Ferdinand, is separated. Ariel has made sure everything has been arranged in this shipwreck. Everything so it'll work to Prospero's plan. But he wants to be freed, and Prospero won't let him. He is in charge of Ariel's life. And it's like, who gets to have power and why? That happens here as well. And then after Prospero and Ariel give you the story, the shipwreck, and the backstory of Ariel and why he owes Prospero so much, then we move into another conflict at about 305 or so, and that is Miranda and Prospero and Caliban. Caliban was the original inhabitant. Prospero arrives almost like a colonial power, the European coming to the native land. A lot of exceptions here. Caliban is one person. There is no civilization. And also Shakespeare didn't have a lot of knowledge. This is 1611. You could count in the maybe low hundreds of pages whatever had been written about the New World by then. And Shakespeare maybe had read, 60 or 80 pages of that. So he's kind of taking his fragmentary knowledge and creating Caliban. Keep going here. So this is the next conflict. How come Prospero gets to control Caliban and keep him as a slave, controlling his every move? You'll find that out. How come Caliban lost control of the island? That was his and his alone before Prospero arrived. And that puts us about 375 or so. And then the next character, Ferdinand, Alonso's son, has been routed by Ariel, who's singing and guiding him along and explaining to him that his father is dead. And so Ferdinand, being a prince with a father who's dead, is now a king. Interesting how that happened. And that's about who's in power. But right now he's just a very broken, lonely young man, following Ariel's song, and he meets Miranda. And that is Prospero's plan. And Miranda and Ferdinand fall in instant love. Prospero couldn't be happier, because that marriage, we'll give it some thought, will help restore the restore Prospero's familial, that is family and lineal place, which was taken so horribly by his brother. And that kind of pulls us through to the end of the play, is the back and forth between Ferdinand and Miranda. Prospero sees they're in love, and he decides to let Ferdinand know that It's not going to be easy, pal. Excellent stuff. So, gosh, that's already 10 minutes. I think I'm going to leave that at that, and I'll call that the overview of the play, and then I'll make another one about our assignments, because 10 minutes is enough. So I'll put another voice thread up shortly.